Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is June 28th, 2015. My name is Eric Peterson. Joining me today with fixed electricity, hopefully, Mr. Dan Curtis.
Hello. Honestly, no guarantees.
Well, at least you'll be here for longer than you were last time, I
I've got
hope.
a backup generator. My girlfriend's in the back. She's just cranking the generator.
You ever hooked up to a wheel? She's just running?
Yeah.
She would kill you if you asked her to do that.
Yep, very much so.
We got Jess Clarkson.
Hello.
And we have wrangled one of the original people that was part of this crew, Mr. Tom Ragan.
Hello, guys. Nice to be here.
If you can't tell, Tom's from a different. Is that your London accent, Dan?
Yeah, that's my
Spot on.
No, the Londonian accents, you've got to be very posh. Hello, Tom. How nice to see you.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Well, the accent you just pulled a few seconds ago was more Southern Louisiana Bayou.
We're all over
I
the
Oh,
place.
when I attempt accents, I do at least 5 in one sentence. So I figure it's best to get through them all in one go. That way, less time is wasted.
If you want a good example of that, we did a video of Dungeon Hunter Alliance where Dan and I attempted to voice act all of the script. I gave up very early, and Dan was so committed to it that, like he said, every one of his sentences had at least 6 accents in it. You'd be a terrible voice actor, Dan.
But yours is just so funny because you just don't give a shit. You start reading them out, and then by the end you just go and you read out the first line of the sentence and then skip it.
Hey, I like to get to the point. At least my movies would be succinct and short.
You'd sit down, it would start playing, and you'd leave.
You guys get the point.
Yeah.
I like your old obese American man, though, Dan. That accent you do. Give me a goddamn cheeseburger.
That one's legendary.
It's a staple.
Kind of along the lines with the old lady that we had. Help!
Jesus.
Oh, God. So back to Tom for a second. For those of you who don't know who Tom is, actually, Tom was the first person that I met when I started down this journey of video game world back. Do we even want to dignify that website with a shout out?
No.
Voldemort Towers.
No, this is before Voldemort Towers.
Oh my God, there's
I
another
didn't
one?
know that.
I know.
Tom and I met on a website called Pixels and I'm not going to finish it because of it's not inappropriate. Tom just doesn't want to dignify them with yes, Pixels or dicks.
That's what I'm trying to think of. It must be pretty racy.
No, it's not at all. It's just we don't want to give them any sort of acknowledgement. But I got pulled on as a Tuesday writer there, and Tom had already been a writer there, and he and I started chatting, and he found out that I was moving over to Voldemort Towers. And did you come over to Voldemort with us or not?
Yes, I followed you to my demise.
Yes, that's right. So
He did.
brought Tom over
Tom
to...
even has friggin' game. Oh, I nearly said the name there. Sorry. He even has. Don't you have business cards, Tom? I did.
Oh, yeah, Christ, somewhere.
Hey, I have 4 or 7 boxes of Voldemort Towers business cards.
Shut
I feel like if we
up.
ever all meet up, we should have a big ceremonial bonfire or something.
Oh, man, they were bad.
With much chanting and throwing of business cards.
The thing that, looking back on it now, I don't know why I didn't realize this in the time, but the logo for Voldemort Towers was identical to one of the internet's most popular gaming websites.
Yes. We didn't actually realize, but we were so blinded by everything, we just went, meh, whatever.
Well, Lord Voldemort said that he had paid someone for that logo.
Wow.
I don't even remember what the logo looks like.
Lord
it's a
Voldemort
hot
said a
pile of
lot
garbage.
of things.
I was too blinded by the glitz and glam of the whole thing.
There was
You're
a
gonna
lot
get
of glitz
paid.
and glam. Come
He
on.
was good at selling the old bullshit.
I think because it was fun too. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I had
It was a
It
good
was very
time.
community based, wasn't it? Apart from all the people trying to basically behind the scenes trying to give you a bad rep.
Oh, yeah. Backstabbing galore.
Yeah, because I did so much for that website. And they used to badmouth me to people behind my back. And it was just...
Well, if you'd go back and if they were still a functioning website and look at the article content, Dan and I had like 85% of it between the two of us combined.
God.
It was a good time.
But at least something good came out of it. That's what I always say.
It took a while, but we got there in the end.
It may have been a bag of shite, but it's cute. It's
so
something beautiful.
I had the pleasure of meeting Tom last weekend in Las Vegas, and I'm still not convinced that Dan's a real person because I still haven't met him.
You want to pay for me to come to America? Go ahead, I'll come.
You got a job?
No, I don't.
Your girlfriend gave you the approval to come.
Your social media manager.
Yeah,
that's true.
I think
if you come over here, I'll pay you.
Therefore, the head honcho should pay for my travel fares.
Just put it on your credit card. I'll reimburse you when you get here.
All right, thanks. That would totally happen.
Trying to sound like somebody else. Empty promises. So no, Tom and I hung out in Vegas last weekend. Was that? Yeah, that was last weekend already, wasn't it? No, it was.
Last weekend. I've just totally messed up my times because I'm operating on Arizona time / Greenwich Mean Time. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, you're saying you're doing multiple time zones right now.
Yeah, I was up at some crazy hour this morning, and now I'm kind of flagging a bit, but I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, Tom, you need to do the thing that I did when I got back from Japan. I just stayed awake until I got back on England time.
Yeah, that's what I did. But then I kind of crashed out. I got home and I just thought, I'll just sit down for a bit. And then I woke up and I was like, it's 5 hours later.
When did your flight get in? Yesterday?
Yeah, so I guess I took off at 4 p.m. Arizona time. And then I landed at 10 a.m. England time.
So really, there's a feasible chance that in the middle of this you could just fall asleep.
Pretty much.
If we hear snoring, everybody make a lot of noise in Tom's general direction.
I just shout.
Let's let it just be the backtrack of the whole episode. It's just Tom's.
The important thing to take from this, though, is the fact that Tom went to meet Eric and came back alive. Because I'm slightly convinced that Eric is a cannibal who lives in the desert.
Jess met me. She's alive.
I know. I think you're pulling the long con, though. Like, you meet you one time and it's fine, you're safe, and then you get into this false sense of security, and then next thing you know, your leg is gone.
And he's got you.
Mm-hmm. I'm still working on the long con with Matt and Kevin and Oliver. I mean, that's 4 years going on, and I've met them a couple times now, so we're getting there. Just don't blow my cover.
I don't listen to this anyway, so it's okay.
Just tell Andrew that when you go missing to not really put too much thought into me.
Okay.
Because it's definitely not me.
Okay.
So, Tom, what'd you think of Las Vegas?
Yeah, I loved it. It was like walking into a fan oven. Like, Dan, you know when you like are just cooking some oven chips and then you pull your door down and you get that blast of hot air?
Yeah.
It just like that permanently.
See, I felt that when I come down to London, because it's like friggin' frigid. It's frigid up in the northeast. So like when I got off the train, when I last went to London, I went outside. I was just like, oh my god, just keeled over.
It was funny picking them up from the airport because Tom texted me that he got off the plane, and Las Vegas airport, at least the section that I went to pick them up, was almost 100% completely abandoned for being an international hub. So we park the car, I go in, and I see the international arrival place, and it said, do not enter. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm not going to enter there. So I went and looked for the baggage claims, and I asked Tom where he was at, and he's like, I'm at baggage claim 30. So I go over and I find all of them, and it ends at 29. So I asked one of the guys emptying garbage cans, and of course he had no freaking clue where baggage claim 30 was. So I walk all the way back down and find him just strolling out. It was one of those like, okay, you're obviously English. I'm obviously American. Let's just, I mean, it could, for all I know, it could It could have been somebody completely different named Tom. I don't know. But we just made that eye contact. I'm like, Tom? And he's like, Eric. And we're like, all right, let's go. And the first time they walked outside, they just instantly start sweating. They're like, this is death. Why the hell are we here?
It really was like, oh my God, is this going to be our whole week holiday? Just walking through like someone wrapping me in a black blanket through desert heat. Like, oh, get me to a casino so I can lose my money fast.
When we were there in September, it wasn't even as hot, but it felt like my eyeballs were burning. Like all of the moisture out of my eyeballs were just evaporating. It was terrible.
So you guys should come to Phoenix because it's even worse.
No.
Seriously.
Surely
Maybe in
not.
the winter.
Oh yeah, come in the winter. It's awesome.
So you guys, it's even hotter and you have Haboobs.
Yeah, what is that word coming from?
Sweet Haboob last night. Yeah, you heard about boobs. Haven't we? No, that must have been on Manatank that we talked about Haboobs.
But what's a Haboob?
I had to Google it.
Yeah,
have
me
you ever
too.
seen the movie The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, Dan?
Yes, many times.
So
Before
the
Brendan
big-
Fraser got fat.
The big dust storm that comes rolling across with the big mummy face sticking out of it.
That's a Haboob.
That's a Haboob.
So that film would have been so much better if they said that. Just
Totally.
pointed at him and went, Haboob!
Isn't he flying a plane away from it? And if the other guy just leaned back and just started screaming Haboob?
Yeah,
That'd have been a good
really
scene.
Good.
Yeah, we had a
Nobody
sweet
knows
one
that.
roll through yesterday. It was nice and sunshiny, and all of a sudden the whole sky just turns this like yellowish shit brown color, and it just starts getting super windy and visibility drops to 0. And then 10 minutes later, it's over.
I must say it sounds like a magical place.
It is.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really is a great place.
Did scorpions come out of the Haboob? To try to destroy
No, but the mummy face shows up 7 out of 10 times. Yeah, Jess, that picture you just sent, I was here for that one. That was a sweet one.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like an entire, like, tsunami of dust.
So what happens is, way out in the desert to the east, the rain starts hitting, and it's so dry it kicks up all this dust, and then the wind just gets behind it and pushes it along, and it just builds up. Sometimes they can get up to 5,000 feet.
And then what
If you're
happens
outside and get
after?
caught in it.
So when they come on, they take over all the TV stations, they take over all the radio stations, and they just remind people, hey, if you're driving, pull over as far as you can to the side of the road, turn your car off, turn your lights off, and take your foot off the brake so that people can't see you, because they don't want people following somebody else like, oh, hey, that's where traffic is, and just driving into them.
Wow. But what happens if you're outside in it, outside of your car?
Yeah.
You just get blown around a little bit, get some dust in your mouth.
Great.
Just blows past and you're just this mound of dust where a human used
There
to
were-
be.
when it happened, there were some kids in the park across from our house throwing a football around, and it was so windy that the kid threw the football and it went nowhere.
Wow.
It was pretty cool.
Maybe it was just really crap.
Yeah.
I very well could have been.
And does everything just get so dirty after? Like, there's just like a layer of
Oh,
dust?
yeah. If you have a swimming pool without a cover on it, you will probably be draining your pool.
Oh, God. That sucks.
It's pretty bad. And some of them are worse than others. I mean, I've been in some where it's like, oh, this is kind of annoying. But I've been in others where it's just total blackout.
God.
It's
It
fun.
would-
I mean,
it
you
would
guys should at
sound
least
interesting.
experience one. Just so at least in your lifetime you can say, I've been inside of a haboob.
That's the dream.
Yeah, inside a boob.
Huh.
For just
So Tom
ring
actually
home. Ma,
back-
I'm in her boob. Yes.
Daniel,
I'm so proud.
I taught you to respect women. Get out of there.
Yes, mother.
So Tom picked the absolute worst weekend on the face of the planet to go to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Not only was it hot, but the EDC convention or festival was going on. And Jess, you know what EDC is?
Yes.
It's the Electronic Daisy Carnival, which is like Burning Man meets Woodstock for electronic music. And
Where is it, though? Like,
It's
it takes place out in the middle of the desert at the Speedway.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
And apparently the Luxor and the Excalibur are home base for all of the EDC attendees, and it not only made parking an absolute bitch, everybody there was either the really obnoxious dude who was wearing like their SoCal cut-off tank tops with longboard shorts and like fake bright-colored Ray-Bans, followed very closely by hordes of women wearing absolutely nothing.
Yes, that's an accurate description.
So why is this bad?
Because most of those girls were like 16.
Oh, okay. You didn't say that, you see.
That could be problematic.
And we were in the elevator with them so many times, and they were just taking selfies, like big groups of them. And they were like, oh my God, I'm going to take a selfie. Look at me.
They are obnoxious.
That's a worse American accent than mine.
That was actually a pretty solid female American accent.
Should we have an accent off?
Accent off now.
Really, no. Because all I can do is the old man.
The old man with the one line.
Yeah. You ask me to say anything else, it's game over.
No. It goes into like Indian or something. It's not good. It's really not pretty.
Before Tom came, I told him I would show him my strategy for Vegas. I showed it to you, Jess, and it got us pretty good and drunk. But I think, Tom, I think your brother was even more impressed by it than anybody else that I've seen.
Yeah, and I was surprised because he's been to Vegas before, but he was like, yeah, I can see the value in this. Just sitting here, just 1 cent every 10 seconds and getting free beers. We did it all week. It was brilliant.
So you spent a week in Vegas?
Yeah.
That's way too much time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Do you have any money left?
I actually came back with money, yeah. I came back with like $120.
Nice.
Jeez.
But yeah, I won a poker tournament out there.
Sweet.
Did you get a sweet bracelet?
No, it wasn't a World Series, unfortunately. But it was pretty cool. Like, it got down to the last 5 people, and the winner got like $400, and second place got $200, and I think third got their money back. And then some guy just got his calculator out and was like, "Should we just split this 5 ways?" And we were like, "Yep, go on then." That sounds good to me.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I played some blackjack and did some shopping because trainers are like half price over there compared to here. And I went
shoes.
Yeah, trainers, shoes, sneakers, whatever
Sneakers,
you want.
tennis shoes,
Sneakers.
Had some sneakers.
Sneakers. That's how you speak American. You just elongate.
Yeah, that's so true. And we went to downtown Vegas as well, which was really cool.
Fremont.
Yeah, and saw a place called the Heart Attack Grill.
Oh!
It said it had a sign on the front, like a huge neon sign, like if you're over 350 pounds in weight, you can eat here for free.
Oh my God.
And they had like the IV bags and stuff, right?
Yeah, and a huge scale that you could stand on to find out how much you weighed, and if you were under 350, you're paying.
Welcome to America.
Yeah, it was just America wrapped up in that one space.
That's craziness.
And they had like nurses as servers, right? Like dressed up.
One guy actually died from a heart attack there.
Shut up.
Not while you were there.
No.
Okay. Like, that would be the best trip to America ever.
Yeah, it was just unbelievable. Yeah, we saw some crazy stuff on Fremont Street. It was where the party was at, clearly.
Did you do the zip lining?
No, but we watched some guys do it, and they look like you could either sit on it or you could kind of be in like a Superman position and like fly down. That looked quite cool.
I'm always afraid someone's going to spit on me when they do it.
Yeah, I know. I'd be tempted.
Or I'd be the one doing the spitting.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, mad ravers. But that only lasted for 2 days. Like, after you guys left on the Sunday, there was no more like EDC or whatever it was. It was just gone.
Oh, so Vegas went back to being your normal drunken shit fest.
Yeah.
Without all the underage teeny boppers.
Yeah, definitely. Just like, it was a week of corn dogs and... And,
yes, you had your first ever corn dog.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm still haunted by this.
What's wrong with that picture? That's how you eat corn dogs, Dan.
It's your eyes. You're enjoying it too much.
If you're not angry at the corn dog, you're not eating it right.
It's not angry. You look like you're enjoying it.
Well, duh. Have you ever had a corn dog? They're delicious.
Yes, but for the shape of whatever this thing is you're eating and the way you're just staring into the camera, it's just not right.
Tom looks perplexed, like, what the hell am I eating?
Yeah.
And where's my goddamn beer refill?
Yeah.
That was the first night that we were there, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'd been up for 26 hours, I think, without sleep. But we get back to the hotel and just immediately start drinking. It's the best way to get back into the groove. Yeah, we soldiered on through. Like, we were on holiday, so we just went for it. I was impressed with my brother. He's older than me. He was like, I need to go to bed. I was like, come on, man. Stay awake.
So you guys are totally acting like you're from Geordie Shore.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Not Geordie Shore again. We've started a spin-off series now, Jess. You might be interested.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Judge Geordie, and one of the girls from Geordie Shore goes and helps people.
No way.
Even though she needs professional help herself.
Oh, so it's not a Geordie person like Judge Judy who sits and judges people and
it's Vicky.
Presides.
Oh God!
I like
the fact
Vicky.
you can name.
That's bad.
Oh my God, Jess.
Whatever.
This isn't too bad of a picture of her.
Yeah, but you don't.
I need to watch this show.
You don't. Please don't.
I need to understand the life and times of one Daniel Curtis as much as possible.
Yeah, I'm actually on most episodes, so
in the background, just trying to get your 5 seconds of limelight.
Yeah.
There's actually a Mersey Shore as well, I think.
A what?
I think there's Mersey Shore, like based in
hell's
Liverpool.
Mersey?
And
It sounds like a disease.
no, I think it's because the Mersey runs through like it's Liverpool and
it's a river.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with the north as Dan, but it's
basically
in the north.
Wherever there's a drunken bar scene, they can just add camcorders and add shore to the end of it, and you've got a show.
Basically.
Yes.
I'm waiting.
My
for my
hometown would be
time.
perfect for this.
London Shore. I'm waiting for it.
Casting call.
You guys have got the only way is Essex, don't you? So.
Oh yeah, that's true. God damn it! And we have Made in Chelsea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You guys have two of them, so.
Like a posh, weird version. Ugh. Awful.
I keep forgetting there's another person on the show now.
Give them airtime.
Oh, yeah. I forget there's another person on the show now who actually understands what the hell Dan's saying half the time.
Yes.
I thought you were all right nowadays.
Oh, I can understand you, but I'm assuming most people can't.
Fair enough.
I'm like an extra buffer.
Yeah.
Between the two.
Honestly, right, there's people with a lot stronger accents than me up here. So they would not be able to understand them at all.
Christy, when we were driving to pick up Tom, I think, was asking about the difference between Tom's accent and your accent. So I had to take her through this whole explanation, and I just decided to put on YouTube videos. And the one that we landed on was the Carly Rae Jepsen "Call Me Maybe" done in Geordie speak. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
No.
It's actually pretty good. The girls kind of suck at singing, but it gives you a good idea of just how impossible the true Geordie person is to understand.
Yep.
What else happened? Oh, I went to San Francisco.
You did. You saw a bridge.
I saw a big bridge.
Yes.
And you have a new love for it.
I do. The first couple times I was out there, I didn't really appreciate the city, but then when work is, like, I'd been on the job for like 4 days, like, hey, we're going to send you to San Francisco, okay? Okay, let's go. Spent a week out there and actually got to see a bunch of cool places, but the one place that was probably the coolest, I was driving home I was pretty much down in Silicon Valley the entire time, and on the way home, I saw this big, bright, colorful campus. So I pulled over, and it turned out to be the Google campus where their headquarters are.
That's
and
wicked.
all of the employees, it's just this huge, like 20, 30 acre place. And there are colored beach cruiser bikes everywhere. And the employees just ride these things around. And when they're done with them, they don't put them in a bike rack. They don't hang them up. They don't lock them up. They just drop them wherever they happen to be. There's a bike in the middle of the street. There's one thrown in the bushes. There were a bunch just laying against fences. It's just normal. It looked like a goddamn slum that was worth billions of dollars. There's bikes everywhere.
If you did that over here, those bikes would be gone instantly after the drop.
Well, across the street, they had 2 regulation-size fields. I think one was some shitty game named soccer, and the other one was like real football. And there's just employees out there just playing, bikes littered across everywhere, and just playing games.
I like the sly dig there, by the way, but basically because I don't give a shit about either, I don't really care.
I know, but I know Tom likes soccer. It was just a really cool, laid-back environment, and then I took a drive down the road and saw Apple's headquarters, and talk about fucking pretentious snobs everywhere. People didn't even have cases for their MacBooks. They're just walking around, like, making sure that everybody can see the Apple logo on the outside as they're going across the crosswalk. Like, look at me, I work for Apple.
That's funny.
Did you not just do the flying drop kick on one of them?
I half expected somebody to come walking by with a big 27-inch iMac, just look at me, Apple. That place sucked. I saw Facebook headquarters. They had a big, apparently last month or this month was Gay Pride Month in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's Pride Week.
Okay. And Facebook had changed their big corporate logo to that rainbow with a thumbs up on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Their headquarters was actually pretty cool. What else did I see? Saw the Tesla factory.
Oh, that's cool.
Teslas everywhere.
That's amazing.
I know what they are now. You explained to me.
Yeah. I'm glad you did a little learning.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Very proud of myself.
Yeah, that's about it. We took kind of a break, a little bit of a break, but we're back.
We have.
And E3 happened. I feel like we need to talk about E3.
Yeah.
Because
we're about a week behind everyone else, but we will talk about it.
I've been around. Well, we've been around for a lot of E3s, and I think at least Dan will admit, this is probably the best E3 of all. And not just for one announcement.
Oh.
But just as a whole,
so
E3
happy.
was awesome.
No,
I was flying.
Eric, honestly, before you get into that, every year at E3, I'm like, right, it's E3, it's going to be exciting, there's going to be loads happening, and then every year afterwards, I'm like, really? That's it?
Yeah, you just felt like you got kicked in the dick, and you're just like, that's...
Yeah, but this year just blew my tits off. I still haven't got them. Haven't got them back.
That's sad.
Get those Haboobs back on.
I hate when that happens.
Tom used that phrase too, something about it, when the economy went tits up, and I just chuckled and started laughing. I'm like, that's what Dan says. No, so I was on the airplane to San Francisco when the Sony conference was happening, because let's face it, that's the only one I really care about. I watched the Microsoft one. Actually, let's talk about the Microsoft one first, because the HoloLens demonstration, did you guys watch that?
I didn't.
Yeah.
No.
You didn't watch it, Jess.
Rule of thumb.
I didn't watch that one.
Eric, generally, Jess hasn't watched it. just assume.
Jess hasn't watched it. She hasn't played it. Okay.
She hasn't left her house. She hasn't done anything. She's stared at the wall all day. She hasn't done anything.
It's true.
How often do you have to wipe the drool out of the corner of your mouth, Jess?
I would say every 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. Does Andrew do that for you? Or did he just kind of tape a rag to your chin that collects it?
No, he did, and then he got bored of it. So, yeah.
Now your cats just lick it up?
Sometimes, yeah.
Gross.
I think Microsoft was the only one I didn't watch.
Oh. Well, let me give you a recap. It was 100% boring, with the exception of the HoloLens demonstration, which at the time I was super excited about, but now I'm like, I don't really care because it's probably not going to turn out to be that. The HoloLens, they hooked up this device to the camera so we at home could actually see what was happening. But they did this really cool demonstration where you could play with the HoloLens Minecraft on the wall, or you could put it on the table and it would come up out of the table and be this fully interactive 3D environment. And everyone's like, oh my God, this is awesome. But
I tell you
once
what,
you kind of take
thing about that, though, Eric, was it was probably the favourite thing about that demonstration was the socially awkward woman he was playing with.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love me a socially awkward person on the E3 stage. It's always funny.
Like the guys from Bungie the other year, like couldn't figure out where to put their hands.
Yeah.
What do we do with our hands, guys? No, I stepped back from it, and even a lot of the critics are like, okay, this is really cool, but it may not be exactly what people said it was going to be. I feel like
Kinect.
it's kind of, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Project Natal, and then look at what happened to PlayStation Move. Look at the Virtual Boy.
Google Glass.
Wow, that's retro.
Well, the HoloLens is kind of a modern day Virtual Boy, isn't it?
Yeah, although it might not give you headaches.
Oh, I bet you it will. And it won't be all red and make you go cross-eyed and bleed from the ears.
Yeah.
It's probably like a brainwashing device or something, really.
I could see a couple practical uses for something like the HoloLens with real-time strategy games. That would be super cool, because when Microsoft first announced the Surface Table like 4 or 5 years ago, they were showing somebody playing End War, I think it was. It was a top-down RTS where you could like move the table around and command your troops from there. Like, that'd be super cool. Never happened.
Yep.
So I foresee...
I think the main thing these things are going to be used for, virtual reality, HoloLens, is, let's face it, it's going to be pornography, isn't it? Yes.
Like 3D, like pop up out of the table and you can move around it?
I can see people like...
Probably more point of view.
Body pillows pretending that Jesus in their house.
I could foresee many injuries when people think there's a woman like really on the table. And just like go for it and just fall through the table.
Oh, man.
I broke my willy.
Very real possibility.
See, I think of these things so they don't have to. I could be a product tester for that.
So you'd have to actually test it to see if the willy would break in such an instance.
I have done that in the past, so you know.
Broke your willy?
I'm sorry, what?
No, I haven't.
I need to get Crystal on the phone and ask, because now I feel like you're trying to cover up. I feel like there's a great story.
You misinterpreted that. I meant...
I don't think I misinterpreted it, because the conversation was you'd have to break your willy to test it, and you said, I've done that in the past.
I don't know what's going on.
Just deny it, Dan. Just stick with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Sony conference, because let's be honest, that's the only one anybody really cared about this year. I was on... Go ahead.
Bethesda.
Yeah, we'll get to that eventually.
I would say that the best announcement that Microsoft made was the backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
That was pretty big.
Is that really that big of a deal, though?
Yeah. If you think about it, the thing that really frustrates me with Sony is the split-up ecosystem, whereby I'm buying PS2 classics on my PS3, and I have to have a PS3 to play them, and I can't play them on my PS4. Or, like, that you can't just put your PS3 discs in the PS4. It can just be a bit, like, feel a bit split across the two. And it's
Let's
quite
look
nice.
back at the entirety of video game history. How many generations were
This might take a while.
How many generations were actually backwards compatible? The PS2 could play PS1 games.
Yes.
That was pretty much it. The
PS3
Wii could play the GameCube games.
Originally play PS1 and PS2 games.
Yeah.
Yes.
The PS3 can still play PS1 games.
Yeah, but it can't play PS2 anymore.
No, the NES couldn't, or the Super Nintendo could play NES, N64 couldn't play anything backwards. I don't really get where this whole backwards compatibility issue really comes from. I understand it's cool to have one console to play it all, but
yeah, I think
I
it's just,
really.
I guess it just does favors for the consumer, I suppose. Like all the kids who have stacks of Xbox 360 games, and they can finally just put them straight in their Xbox One. It just sells more Xbox Ones, I think.
But if the architecture is inherently different, then it's just asking way too much from the developers. Like, I want a PS3 inside my PS4.
But if Microsoft could always do this, why didn't they do it from day one? Is my question. They've clearly just done it to try and one-up Sony. They've always had the capability
Microsoft
to do it.
bungled a lot of shit with the Xbox One.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason that they are lacking in the market. There was a business statistic, I think it was last week, in all of Japan, they didn't sell any Xbox Ones.
Really?
No. Not one.
It was something like, is that what it was? It was either 0 or less than 10. It was just an absurd amount in all of Japan. Not a single Xbox One sold for a week.
Considering how much Japan loves technology as well, that's pretty bad.
But Japan is just fiercely brand loyal, though, to things that are homegrown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't really care if Sony never implements backwards compatibility, because for me, I have my PS1, I have my PS2, I have my PS3. I don't really care.
Sure.
I'd be more interested if they made those games available to download and play instead of this shitty PlayStation Now. Agreed.
Yeah, that would be better. I've actually went and got my PS2 and brought it home. So it's been gathering dust for years, but now it lives on. And I discovered that you can't play it with the standard cable on any HD TV without it looking like absolute arse.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to buy a new controller and a new cable.
Even when you do put a component cable in there and you try to put it at 16:9, it still looks like anus. So you have to still play it in 4:3.
I think it looks all right. It's passable.
At the moment, the only thing I play on my PS2 is NHL Hits 2003.
Oh, Jesus.
That is a phenomenal ice hockey game.
Good God.
Better than Mutant League Hockey?
I don't know what that is, but it is incredible. It's just really arcadey, fast, frantic. You don't have to know anything about hockey to play it. It's just pick up and play. It's great fun.
Do people explode into a pile of guts when you hit them?
You can body check them through like the perspex or whatever.
Do people explode into a pile of guts when you hit them?
Well, no.
Okay, so it's not better than Mutant League Hockey.
Is Mutant League Hockey on PS2?
It's a Sega Genesis game.
Oh, man.
My God, do you know a Sega Genesis game?
I have plenty.
Why do you always pretend that you don't?
Because it bothers you.
Well, now I know, so it's not going to.
Damn it. The long con's over.
Moron.
Tom, you need to play Mutant League Hockey. It's not as good as Mutant League Football, but Mutant League Hockey is awesome.
I'll check it out.
You better.
So back to E3.
Yes, so I was on the plane to San Francisco when the Sony conference was going on. Actually, I was supposed to land like 3 minutes after it started. So as soon as I got off the plane, I popped it on and started watching it, and then trying to navigate an international airport and baggage claim while trying to watch something just didn't really work. So, you know what? I'm just going to go into social media blackout and not read anything until I get back to the hotel and watch this. And I made it about 20 minutes after that declaration until one of my friends called, just screaming like a little girl about Final Fantasy VII. Like, wow, that
would have been me if
surprise.
I was in America.
Oh, absolutely.
Honestly, right, because obviously the Sony conference over here is on in the middle of the night. So I was asleep and got up in the morning and checked everything that happened, and I was just scrolling down, just going, oh, that's pretty cool. And then it went, Final Fantasy VII Remake is real, and I just went bananas.
Did you actually like start jumping around? And
I did. I was on a hype all that morning.
The crowd in that audience, though, was hilariously, it was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It was so awesome to watch it.
I had to actually go back and watch the conference, too, because when Square got up, they're talking about the importance of Final Fantasy franchise to Sony and all this, and then they put up fucking Final Fantasy Worlds just to troll everybody. You could just hear the collective sigh in the room go, not again. And they started playing it, and everyone's like, yep, they're doing it again. And then afterwards, like, oh, and we have this, too, and they play it, and people just lost their minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was so well done, which makes me think that last year's announcement where they said, we're going to bring the PlayStation or the PC port over, I think that was just a huge setup for this year.
Yeah. They must have known back then they were going to do it.
Well, there was an interesting article about one of the product managers who deals with these third-party developers who said, I've known about this for over a year now. And he said it's so hard when you're privy to information to keep that stuff. Even if you don't say anything, people who know who you are and know who other people are, if they see you go into a room together, they can start making assumptions. And he said it was really difficult. We'd have to plan things out. Like, I'll go into this room like 45 minutes early, and then you just kind of haphazardly stroll in so people don't think we're there to meet together. But he's known about this for a long time. He said it was a fun secret to keep because he knew how much people were going to lose their minds over it.
That's just one of those things in gaming, though, that nobody ever thought would really happen. Everybody wanted it to happen, but nobody really believed it would, and that's what amazes me so much.
You've been writing articles about it for like 5 years now.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, guys. It's going to happen. This is what I want.
It happened, so shut up. It just better be good.
See, that's the thing, too. I think a lot of people are just still a little disillusioned by it, and I really like how Square made this announcement, especially with that trailer.
Yeah.
And the voiceover is not a character from the game. It's not any sort of lore from the game. It's just a nondescript person talking about, hey, this is a world that we've all come to know and love, and the people within it have affected us in different ways, and it's time for us to go back, and whatever comes out, love it or hate it, you just need to embrace it. And basically that's Sony saying, look, you guys asked for this, so whatever the fuck you get, shut up. I love it.
My favorite thing about it was that guy who got to announce it just before it was on. Did you see him? And
no.
He was just before he did the trailer. He was like, "We've got an old," like he said something. I've got an old friend to show you, but he was like visibly trying not to smile because he knew he just basically won the internet.
Yeah,
and it was just fantastic.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. I didn't know about it at all until I actually watched the conference in the morning at work on a second screen. I got two screens at my office, and I just was watching the trailer. I didn't really think much of it, and then suddenly those little chimes came in with that the intro music, and I could just feel like my mouth just dropped. I was like, no.
See, Thomas hit me earlier because if you've watched Advent Children, it actually had the music on from Advent Children, which was playing throughout. And when that started playing, I was like, "Oh my god, it's real!"
Oh, I didn't know that. I have seen Advent Children, but it was so long ago.
Yeah, it's like
I really actually hope they do the remake in the vein of Advent Children, except not make Cloud such a whiny bitch.
Yeah, I remember him being pretty out of character in the movie.
He was. Everybody's got their own internal voice for a lot of these characters, and
sure.
There's an interesting book that I read. There's this group of people, these philosophers that write these pop culture books called like Philosophy and whatever. And there's one that I read called Philosophy and Final Fantasy, and there's a concept they had in there about the player experience and how your Cloud is different than my Cloud, and my Cloud is different than Dan's and Jess's, and everybody's Cloud is different. Even though it's the same character going through the same experiences, we all connect with that character in a different way. But his voice did not sound anything like it possibly should in Advent Children. I don't understand how they came to that conclusion, that he have just such a high-pitched, whiny voice.
So yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good.
But he was so whiny. I understand, like, the world just went to shit.
Yeah, he has just had his love die.
Yeah, get over it.
And then everything else happened, and he found out he was a puppet and everything.
So now he's delivering packages?
So you got to do something after saving the world. You can't live off that forever.
I don't suppose.
Did anybody from the Final Fantasy VII? Did anybody ever play Dirge of Cerberus?
Yeah, it was really kind of bad.
I never played that one.
I quite liked it, just because it was Final Fantasy VII.
It was good for story, but who wants to play as Vincent and Yuffie?
Me. Vincent's awesome.
Yeah. Let's talk about this for a second in terms of what do you guys hope they do and what do you hope they don't do with this game?
I think no matter what, there's going to be people bitching and complaining.
Oh, yeah, but I hope they keep the storyline relatively the same, maybe throw some new elements in. They keep all the famous bits like Cloud cross-dressing Shinra Mansion where you have to go up the endless staircase. The fight against Sephiroth at the end. Junon, where it gets attacked by Diamond Weapon, Emerald Weapon under the sea, you get in a submarine. I could go on forever, you know.
I think that, Dan, you kind of touched on a really important point, too, is that as soon as people announce this, as soon as they announced this, people started talking about, well, they better do this, and they better do that, and they better do this. And a lot of if you actually go back and play this game, is a lot of mini games and just goofy scenes like cross-dressing and jumping on top of the dolphin and the bitch slap fight and just things like that where how well is that really going to carry over? But those are such iconic points in the game. Like the whole gold saucer thing. I mean, that's such an iconic part of the game where you have to play as the Moogle and give nuts to this other character and then go snowboarding down the side of the mountain. And it's a game, it's an RPG full of mini games. And I feel like if they pull those out, they're going to lose some of that iconic essence of the game.
I tell you what it could need, though. They could put a card game in it. And that
like Triple Triad?
Yes. And that would go down a treat.
I hope they do the motorbike scene like Road Rash or something. Like highest next gen Road Rash.
I love the G-Bike minigame.
There's an app that came out in Japan that's supposed to be making its way over to the West, where it's nothing but G-Bike racing.
Yes, I saw that, but I'm hoping it's like still in there. Like all that, like I'm just really excited to see the Cold Saucer. I'm excited to see all of it, to be honest. But like,
I think what's going to be the coolest part of this game is some of the most iconic places, like you said, the Gold Saucer. When they introduce it in the game, I think they're going to have these big, majestic panning shots, and it's just going to be like, oh my god, I'm back.
Yeah, but see, Eric, as well, my probably my favorite game soundtrack of all time is Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah,
and for that to be redone with full orchestra, which obviously I've heard before, but with the actual game as well.
If they take the Stockholm Philharmonic Orchestra like they did for Distant Worlds to redo this, the game is just going to be through the roof with audio.
Yeah.
But the one scene that I'm pumped for is when Ares is standing in front of the High Wind, like that pan-up scene where you first see the High Wind for the first time, because that's one of the best parts of any Final Fantasy game is I got my airship.
Yeah, I got freedom.
I love Isn't that part. Not actually in the game?
It's there.
No, I don't. I think it's just on the promotional materials, because Aerith's dead by the time you get High Wind.
Okay, well, either way, there's a part where it pans up and you see the High Wind for the first time.
I just hope it delivers, because it's just going to be one of them games that's either, if it's done well and done right, it's going to regardless, but it could be one of the biggest releases ever.
I think for me it all circles around the battle system. Like, how are they going to tackle that? Because the story, if they leave that untouched, I mean, it's pristine in every way. Like, they should just retain that. That's quite an easy win because it's already written. But the battle system is the question mark, because we all come from a time of like kind of turn-based RPGs, and I still prefer that, but I'm happy with the way it's moved forward, but I still quite like turn-based games.
See, I think I'd actually take the opposite stance of that, where I don't want them to touch the battle system, and instead I'd rather have them go back and polish up the story, because to be honest, the translation was kind of bad, and there are some big gaps in the story in certain spots.
Yeah, but
where they could go in and flesh it out.
I'll tell you what I would do, lads, and girls. Sorry, I would have Final Fantasy X where you can swap out the characters as you want.
I think that would be cool, as long as they don't make it real time. It needs to be that traditional turn-based menu style.
10 was turn-based. Yeah, but it had that element of like kind of activity where it was faster.
Was it the last one to be turn-based, or was 12?
No, it was the last one.
12 was open world.
13, I would say, technically is kind of turn-based, based on the paradigm system. It's a goofy hybrid. I think that gets
a lot of flack. It was a good battle system, but like,
and it just got better as the games went on.
Battle systems,
which is crazy, because 13's story was absolute shit, and it just got worse as it went. But the battle system got better as the games went along. From 13.3, that battle system was great.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it a lot.
I just don't want them to go the style of like Kingdom Hearts, where it's just open world, let's fight.
No,
And they have to keep the materia system.
Yes, they do.
They?
But I wouldn't be against having new spells.
Yeah.
So, but that reminds me as well. I'm so excited to see Knights of the Round.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is it, like a 2-minute casting time?
Yeah.
It's just huge.
It's long. I can't wait to see Supernova as well.
Yeah.
There's so many good parts.
There is just that's one of them games you can just remember and you think back to all the such memorable sections in it. It just doesn't stop really. Like even when you go across the sea and you end up in Costa del Sol.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And, Red 13's wearing a sailor outfit and stuff.
Trying to fit in.
It's just
those are the things.
Barrett's got a sailor outfit on as well and just looks like a big gay black captain.
They have to keep those things because if they take those out, it's just going to lose that charm.
Oh, can you imagine how cool it'll be when you get up to the top of Shinra headquarters and President Shinra's dead with Sephiroth's sword in his back? Can you remember
I can't wait to see what they do with killing Ares. Like, I hope they stab her and, like, guts explode out and... Oh, it's going to be sweet.
I used to love when you meet the Turks as well. Each time you meet those guys, it was like, oh, here comes trouble.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing how they
the bat with the Turk theme with the clicking and stuff.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to, Jess?
All of it.
Honest answer.
Everything that you guys have said already.
Is this a game that you grew up playing and have fond memories of, or did you recently play it for the first time?
I've never played it.
What?
Yeah.
Have you played anything?
No.
How the hell are you on a video game podcast?
I don't know. Kick her off. We've got Tom now. We don't need her.
That's true.
She's here for comedic relief. And we need someone who looks good.
I'll try. No, I think it'll be... I'm just concerned that people are going to complain no matter what. And that might not be a good thing for like future games and stuff, but whatever.
Well, I think this, if Square does it right, then this will kind of set the precedent for, hey guys, this is how these remakes need to be done. Because I'm all for just like slapping some HD graphics on it, because 10 and 10.2 looked great in HD, but they're not remakes. Look at Oddworld, New and Tasty, for example. That's how a remake needs to be done. They didn't. Yeah. Lauren Lanning got so pissed off at people for calling it an HD remake. It's not a fucking HD remake. We remade the game. We started from the ground up. We pulled no assets from the original game. It is brand new, except we made it just like the old one. That's how a remake needs to be done.
I'm hoping they'll do Abe's Exodus now. I think that's the plan.
Based on how well New and Tasty did, I can't believe they wouldn't.
Yeah, they even built it in the Unity
We've got somebody
engine.
in the chat talking about Final Fantasy VII, guys. He says he never liked the tower defense section at Fort Condor.
Oh, yeah, that part was terrible.
Tedious.
It was kind of like the part in Final Fantasy VI where you had to use the Moogles to defeat Kefka and his little army coming through the cave. I hated that.
Oh, yeah, that sucked.
That's a good point.
I'd say
that
that's
part
one of
they
my
could
least
leave
favorite bits. But if they polish it up, it could be all right.
Yeah, I'll be fine with whatever they push out because people have been bitching and complaining about this for so long that, you know what? They're giving it to us. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for it. Like you say, Eric, some of the daft bits could do it tidying up. Like, there's a bit where Kite Sith sacrifices himself. Mm-hmm. And then he just, like, all out of the blue, another one shows him and goes, "Hi, I'm Kite Sith Mark II."
It took me a long time to realize that Kate Sith was not the big, jiggly, white puppy guy. It was the little cat on top.
Me too.
Yeah, that really confused me when I watched Advent Children, because the cat was talking Scottish, and I was like, what?
Did any of you ever have him as one of your main guys in your party?
No,
mine
never.
was Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett. Always.
Mine was Cloud Barrett and Vincent, or sometimes Red 13.
I always used Vincent too. I had Cloud, Vincent, and then I would rotate out depending on my mood. But The first time I played through, I really took a lot of time to level up Ares and left all this really good shit on her, and then she dies and it just disappears. Like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
No.
So
I remember you guys talking about renaming your characters.
Oh, yeah.
And I never used to rename them apart from I always called Cloud like Tom or whatever. I was one of those guys.
So you named the main character yourself?
Yeah, I always used to name.
I did used to do that actually as well.
Yeah.
I would call it Dan, and then I would call Tifa the name of a girl I liked.
Aww, how
and
cute.
And I called Red 13 Nanakai, or whatever his actual name was from.
I always thought it was Nanaki.
Nanaki. Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, you said Eric Yuffie?
Yeah, no, Tifa. I called her sexy with all capitals. So when you look at pictures of Cloud, you don't see him as Cloud, you see him as Tom.
That's me, the hero.
That's Dan, Dan the hero.
The Buster Sword wielding hero.
Tom. Doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
Oh,
I love that bit on the trailer though, where you saw his Buster Sword on his back. That was so cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See Tom walking through. It was great.
I hope you can actually see it on his character model, like when he's got different swords, like you can have ultimate weapon on his back and stuff like that.
Can't imagine you wouldn't.
That'd be pretty cool. But they don't do that on Final Fantasy. It's like sometimes when you change armor, you don't change appearance.
Yeah.
Which is kind of annoying, I think. It's like I will pick armor in RPGs based on how it looks rather than how good it is.
I agree with that though.
I'm willing to sacrifice 20 points of defense to have this sweet armor.
I may be weak as shit, but I look good.
Exactly.
That's exactly it. That's what you need.
I'm going to look good at my funeral.
Like on The Witcher 3, I will not wear armor if it looks shit, regardless of how good it is.
I always try to make my guy look as posh as possible. He's ready for tea and murder.
I will try to enchant stuff in Skyrim to make it at least a little bit better because it looks good.
Yeah.
Well, at least in The Witcher, can't you dye your clothes different colors?
I don't think so.
What game is that where you can dye? I think you can.
Is that not Dragon Age?
I don't freaking know. Anyway. Time frame for 7. What do you guys think it's going to be?
3 years. At least.
Never.
I think it's going to be
big troll.
I think it's going to be at least 3 years because in a press conference afterwards, they made it sound pretty suspiciously like, "Hey, it just entered development."
Oh.
Yeah, but they could be trolling us again.
Could you imagine if they would have pulled a Todd Howard and been like, "Hey guys, Final Fantasy VII Remake available tonight."
Yeah.
And it's just this full-on thing that they've been developing for 7 years.
I don't think anyone
I wouldn't have went
be
to
able
work
to
for a week.
I probably wouldn't. I would have canceled my trip to San Francisco.
That's just one of the things that have to be done. You just have to shut yourself in a room and play through that and just don't stop. That's what would happen.
I will admit that I've been pretty down on the remake for this for a while just because I was trying to convince myself, like, hey, it's never going to happen.
Really? This has never been apparent.
Yeah. But now that they've announced it and I actually start thinking about, like, okay, this is going to happen. There's no avoiding the inevitable. Let's rally around it and just, okay, I get it. I know why people want the remake, and Square's finally, I'd say they're reluctantly doing it because for the longest time, they're like, no, we're not doing it.
See, I think they've just been saying that and they have wanted to do it, but they've never had the resources and the time to do it. I think because
they had the time and resources to create one of the shittiest trilogies of RPGs ever created. You can't tell me that those games were cheap to make.
No, but that they've learned from that, and I think they're now starting to listen to what people want, which is pretty good.
And it's a real money spinner.
Before the show, Dan, you and I were talking about what we thought they were going to announce, and you and I had both kind of written off the fact that, like, they're not going to announce Final Fantasy VII.
I saw a rumor that day that was going to be announced.
That's right. You did send me something about that, but I actually fully expected to see a 12 HD remake.
Yeah, I thought that was an absolute shoo-in this year. So
it looks like it's time to
I
start
actually
playing
brought
12.
Final Fantasy 12 back with my PS2 to play on because I can't remember it at all. And
Oh, Jesus.
I was holding off playing on it until after E3 because I thought it would be announced, Final Fantasy 12 HD, and then it wasn't. So I went back and started to play on Final Fantasy 12, which I actually wanted to talk to you guys about and see what you thought about that one. Because I think it's one of the most underrated ones, personally. I actually really like it.
I think it's fantastic. It's got one of the coolest storylines because Final Fantasy, to me, is always about these big, sprawling, epic political warfare things, and 12 just kind of wraps all that up. And it was it was kind of at the height of this whole MMO craze, and 11 didn't really do too terribly well. So like, okay, let's see how we can incorporate that into a single player RPG. And I really like the Gambit system.
Yeah, I like it a lot actually, but it's quite a difficult one. It is some of the bosses are very difficult.
To be honest, I've never made it past 15 hours in that game. Not because I don't like it, I just get sidetracked.
Yeah, but if you stick with it, though, it has this whole you can hunt monsters as a side quest.
Oh yeah,
and you get up to the final one, and I think it might be Tiamat or something like that, and it's got about 30 million HP.
Oh my god!
And you can actually set up your gambits, so your characters fight him automatically, and you literally have to leave your game on for about 5 hours before he dies.
Wow. I'd be pissed if you died like 2 minutes before.
Yeah. You don't get anything for doing it. It's just one of them things where you could say, I did this.
It was like the Gran Turismo 24-hour races.
Yep.
Speaking of Final Fantasies like that, one of my friends is a huge Final Fantasy XIV player, and he called me up and he's like, hey, they have this whole recruit a friend thing going on where if you recruit a friend, you get this sweet flying mount, so I'm going to buy you a copy of the game and pay for you to play it. Like, okay, I'm not going to turn that down. And in the past 2 days, I've probably put 13 hours into that game.
It's good.
It's fantastic. It is really good. And I am not an MMO fan, but it's just one of those
that's again another thing for Square listening to people, because the original was a disaster.
Yeah.
So they went back, completely remade it, and it's successful. So
it's incredible. Yeah. If you like Final Fantasy 12, you would like Final Fantasy 14. And the cool part of it is he bought me a PC copy, and if I were to go out and get a PS4 copy, I can just, if I'm playing here in my computer and I want to go sit on the couch, just turn it off in here, go turn it on the PS4, and it's the same character, same world, same everything. Just carry on.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
It's really cool. I mean, it's your typical MMO stuff, but the story is really cool. It's great pacing, and the game is gorgeous.
I never played 14, but I did play 11, and it was terrible. And I kind of put me off. But if 14's good, I might have to give it a go.
If you could pick a copy of it up for super cheap, at least play the 30-day free trial and give it a shot. But I enjoy it. I mean, Square really, really made up for the abysmal launch that it originally was. I can't guarantee that I'll play it forever, but
no, that's why I get into never really get into MMOs. I get bored of games eventually.
I don't know.
I don't know how you can play the same thing for years. Like people who play Call of Duty all the time. I could play it for a while.
The beauty of this, though, is that it is such an absolutely enormous, sprawling world with so much shit to do that if I could see myself really digging into this and enjoying it, especially now that we're coming up on the gaming lull of the summer. The only thing I'm looking forward to is Rory McIlroy's... No. Yeah, that's his name. PGA Tour. Whatever the fuck his name is. The PGA golf game coming out in a couple weeks.
Have they binned off Tiger Woods now, have they?
Oh, they got rid of him a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Batman's just come out, so there's nothing much for me now.
Oh, they had a great PC launch, from what I hear.
Who cares? PC gamers.
That's kind
honestly,
of a good...
on PS4, that game is fantastic.
What's your take on the Batmobile? I see people are kind of mixed bag on it.
It is so cool. One of the best vehicles in a game ever. It's just the fluidity that you can get into it, and you can switch into tank mode and then just switch straight into rocketing across the city. It's so awesome. And it's actually integrated really well into like the way the story goes ahead and all the puzzles and stuff like that. Like you can, Batman can actually remote control it from a distance, so you can do something as Batman in a building, and then you have to use the Batmobile to like rip down a wall or something so you can progress. And it's really cool.
I feel like if you were to write, go ahead, Jess.
I was going to say they haven't had a vehicle in any of the games, right? I haven't done all the DLC.
This is the first time they've done the Batmobile.
That's cool.
I feel like you're coming from a little bit of a bias, though. I mean, your Batman boner is unusually large.
Oh, yes. But for a person who loves Batman, this is the ultimate Batman game.
And
so
I just
you can't go wrong.
Get into Arkham Asylum and Arkham City.
I don't know what's wrong with you. The fantastic.
Do you think, can I pick up the new one and without having played the first 2 or 3?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Cool.
Now, Dan, let me ask you...
It helps to have played them, but... yeah.
Let me ask you an even more important question. Do you have to have played Batman and Robin for the Super Nintendo in order to understand this game?
Well, if you're talking about Batman Forever, which is the film before that, then yes.
Okay. Which one did we play? I don't know. It was so terrible.
Batman Forever.
Okay, we played Batman Forever on the Super Nintendo. I feel like we should talk about that for a few minutes. Because
I still have nightmares.
That may be the most hilarious game we have ever played.
It's just... I'll ease people in by explaining what it is. Basically, Batman Forever was made by Acclaim, who made... I think they made Mortal Kombat back in the day.
And they made NBA Jam.
Yeah, and they basically used the Mortal Kombat engine, but made a 2D fighting and kind of platforming Batman game, where you can play either as Batman or Batman and Robin together with a friend, which is what we did.
Oh my God.
It is one of the worst things ever. If you've ever played Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, you'll know what I'm talking about. Did anybody
when you play a platforming game with somebody else, you would expect that if you're walking together, you should be able to walk past each other, right? Simple thing to expect. Not in this game.
Nope.
So if Dan is standing in front of me and I want to get past him, my only option is to either jump over him or grapple hook to the ceiling and swing past him.
Oh my God.
So if he's getting his ass absolutely pushed in, I can't do anything about it unless I can jump over him and get behind. It's the worst controlling game.
So badly.
We sat for a solid 5 minutes trying to figure out how to go down a hole.
Basically, it doesn't tell you any of the controls, and the controls are like getting around is locked behind these really intricate combos that you have to do. And it's just so stupid.
At the beginning, we got to choose special weapons. I think I chose some sort of silly putty, and you chose some sort of laughing gas or something like that. In our extended playtime, we never once figured out how to use those items, ever. We tried absolutely every conceivable combination. But to get down the hole, for some odd reason, it was like down, R to drop down this hole. And you had to be in just the right spot.
But half the time it wasn't obvious that there was a hole there. So...
To go up the hole, the first way we got exposed to it was there was a hole in the ceiling that we had to go through. We had no idea you could grapple. Absolutely no idea there was a grappling hook. So Dan figures out that he can grapple to the ceiling, so he starts swinging. I'm super jealous. I want to start swinging along with him, so I grapple to the ceiling, and we just sit there and just kind of swing back and forth for a good 30, 40 seconds. And I have to say, it's probably one of the funniest moments I've ever had in a video game. I actually was crying from laughter.
I don't know why, it was just so funny. And then just after that, I actually figure out how to go up the hole, and Eric's just laughing his head off, and he just goes, "How did you do this?"
Because This game makes the most insignificant of actions feel like monumental Herculean tasks.
I have seen the video of you guys swinging to and fro.
Oh, God.
And just the action, he looks almost perpendicular as he's swinging through.
Well, and don't forget about the ability to jump and hover.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Robin does this thing where he jumps up and then kicks his legs straight forward like a cheerleader and then floats really slowly across the screen. And then Batman does this thing where he jumps up and does like this Dracula cape swing and just kind of floats forward even slower. Gravity does not exist.
I'll tell you what, going back to going down the hole though, Eric, can you remember when you're playing two-player, if one person goes down the hole and the other person doesn't follow them, the other person who fell down the hole will then jump back up to the top to be with the other person.
It's so bad
so
because
perfectly time it.
The hole is only big enough for one person to go down at a time. At least that's what we figured. So one person has to go, and the other person has to quickly move over and execute the combo to go down before player one falls off the bottom of the screen.
Wow.
Otherwise, player one will just jump back up, and then you're stuck again in the same bit.
It's a Batman and Robin puzzle game.
But not trying to be a puzzle game.
No, not at all. And there's a part where you're riding up the elevator and you can bust through the roof of the elevator and then just stand on the top of it for no apparent reason.
Why can you do that? I really don't understand it. It makes no sense.
Are there any bosses in the game?
We don't know. We didn't get that far.
You do?
Hey, we made it to level 2.
The hole was the boss.
We made it to level 2, which is in a bank, right? And then you're in this big foyer, and you have to... And there's nowhere to go. We wandered back. Eric, how many times did we walk back and forth through that section?
It had to have been 4 or 5.
Yeah, basically what you have to do, the game doesn't tell you this at any point, is you have to kill every enemy in that room, and they just like randomly spawn in different sections of the room for no apparent reason. And then we're trying to figure out where to go after they're all dead, and we go to the right of the screen and the door's open. Eric just goes, "Hey, the door's open." We just go through.
Well,
and it's just and then we're just like, why did that happen?
I think it had to do with the fact that we blew out every ceiling ballast and exploded half the plants in the lobby too.
Yeah, that's probably
certain plants, if you punch them, they explode. Other plants don't.
As you do.
Yeah,
they've usually got health kits in them for reasons.
It's a really, really bad game. I mean, I've played a lot of bad games in my day, but this game is bad.
But at the same time, it's worth experiencing just to experience the badness.
I would say in order to properly experience the terribleness, you have to play it with another person.
Yeah. Just watch our video. It's just so funny. I was in absolute tears for so long. I couldn't even speak at one point because I was laughing so much.
It's a good time.
It's a good time.
Dan, you and I also played another game a while ago that we never talked about that also is based off of a movie.
Yeah, we've got a movie theme going on at the moment.
We played...
That was True Lies.
Yes. Good old Arnie and Tom Arnold.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys ever watch that movie?
Yeah, great movie.
It's fantastic.
I love that film.
Jess, do you have any clue what we're talking about?
What one?
True Lies?
No.
With Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he rides a horse in an elevator and shoots a guy off with a rocket?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And he tries to jump the horse off the roof of the hotel into a swimming pool, and then the horse goes, "No, screw you."
Yeah.
That game does the movie no justice. It's I don't even know
how
to explain
I love the
that.
bit. I love the bit in the movie where they're in their bathroom, and there's a guy just having a shit on the toilet. He has this big fight with two guys and completely destroys the room. This guy just shuffles out afterwards in his underpants looking shocked. It's just brilliant.
I can't say if I know that part's in the game because we didn't make it that far.
No.
This
Very
is
difficult.
It's a top-down shooter where I don't even know how to explain this game.
It looks like you can run around and do dolphin rolls everywhere, and just the guards won't actually shoot you.
They won't shoot you unless you engage them.
Yes.
Or you stand directly in front of them.
But it's really hard to aim because you're using a D-pad. And if you kill too many civilians, the American government will say you've compromised the mission and send a nuke in to destroy you, in the process killing even more civilians.
That's a lot of logic.
That's brilliant.
It is like, as soon as we pulled us out the mission, there's just a graphic of a nuke going off.
I think it's meant to imply that, hey, the terrorists won and the terrorists set off the nuke, but the way it's set up is, you've compromised the mission, we're pulling you out, and they just nuke the facility.
I actually watched somebody playing that game, and that bathroom scene is actually in the game.
Is it?
Yeah, and once you finish, whoever it is, I guess it's Tom Arnold, he says, "Good job, Harry. Nothing like destroying a public restroom in the name of democracy." It's like amazing.
Genius.
I vaguely remember there being a part in the game where you get to fly the Harrier jet, but I could be wrong.
We couldn't get that far. We could barely get past the first level.
It was pretty rough.
It was.
Let's see. What else have you guys been playing? Jess, I know you played something.
Fallout.
Fallout? I feel like we did a Fallout show, but I guess it's never too much.
I was just super excited for Fallout 4. So I was playing Fallout 1 and then the Fallout Shelter, which is
Let's talk
hilarious.
About that. You know, I was really pumped for that game. Downloaded it on Christy's iPad, and then, I should probably tell you this, work gave me an iPhone, and I want to throw this goddamn thing across the room. I don't know how people function on something so small. But I downloaded Fallout Shelter on it, and I'm over it.
I haven't played for a few days, which I'm kind of terrified to go and look to see if my Explorer is completely dead. But it's fun. Like, it's definitely a mindless game and, like, very true to, like, a mobile game type of format where it's constant, like, clicking on things to collect different items and resources, and there's not a huge heck of a lot that you can do at one time, so it's a lot of like continuous small sessions of playing this game to progress to different levels and stuff.
But from what I've noticed, it's kind of backwards, whereas most games kind of start out really easy and then get super difficult. It's reverse. The game starts out super difficult because you're constantly short on resources, overpopulated. You don't have enough electricity to run your water plant, which then runs down on water. And if you don't have water, your people get pissed off.
Go up.
And then, and it's just, it's frustrating. But once you kind of break through that, then you just have this huge surplus of everything. And you don't even need to expand.
But I find, too, that at the beginning, you got a lot more lunch boxes than you do, like, after playing the game for a while. Mm-hmm. Where it seemed like any sort of... like, I guess, quest that you did, you got the lunch boxes. And the lunch boxes, you can pay to get more lunch boxes. And they have, like, really rare, they have characters and outfits and everything that's rare compared to the lunch boxes that you get for free within the game. So it's not necessarily pay to win, but you can pay to get a lot more cool shit that you don't have the option of getting within the game.
It's good for about a week, to be honest. After that, I mean, this isn't one of those mobile games that you're going to play for months to come to tide you over till Fallout shows up.
No, it's so wicked cool what they did with it, though.
It is. I really like how he did and it's available tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm irritated that they didn't make it available on Android as well.
Yeah, I would like to give it a go, but I've only got Android, so not happening.
You're really not missing much.
I feel like on a phone, because I'm using it on an iPad as well, on a phone I think it would be way too small.
It's way, way, way too small. I've got an iPhone 5, and I just look at it and be like, I can't function on this.
Yeah, I'm playing Final Fantasy VI on the iPhone 5, and it's tough. It's
wow.
tough. I'm like 20 hours in.
Jesus.
And I can't believe
impressive.
I've made it that far. Yeah. It's just anytime if I get a seat on the tube or on the bus, just Final Fantasy VI for 30 minutes. It's pretty good because like you can quick save and stuff. Like they've kind of repurposed it for mobile, so it's not too bad, but it is too small ultimately. Like the battle system, you like have to touch the attack with like your fingernail. Like,
wow.
And, like, when you're in like an intense boss fight and you're like scrolling through and stuff and trying to select the right magic and like trying to heal all instead of just one person is like a challenge in itself. But yeah,
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
See, Eric, I think you should go and play Final Fantasy XII because you haven't played through it before, and you should.
You know, I was thinking about that, and we've got our Legend of Dragoon playthrough going on, and now I started Final Fantasy XIV. It's just, I don't have enough time. There's never any time.
This time thing.
Yeah.
We used to have so much. What happened to us?
We got jobs.
We got old.
Let's get rid of those jobs.
Yeah.
What are you, Dan? Like 21, 22?
25.
Close enough. You guys been playing anything else?
I on the plane on the way to Vegas, I was playing Parappa the Rapper for PSP.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
My God.
The PSP version
game.
or the PS1 version on the PSP?
It's the PSP version, but it's quite literally a full-on reboot. It's just a port, of the PS1 version.
Oh man, I can still remember all of those songs.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I was semi-hoping for a Parappa the Rapper 3 at E3. That's my Final Fantasy VII now. I'm hoping for that.
You could just play Jam or Lammy.
Yeah, I remember that.
Anybody ever used to play Buster Groove?
Yeah,
I do remember Buster Groove, yeah.
I love Buster Groove. It was impossible, but it was really good. I used to have a demo of it. I just used to play my demo discs all the time.
Yeah, me too.
I actually was just flipping through my old CD binder and had a bunch of old PlayStation 1 demo discs in it. Those were the days. Kids these days, they just have to pop on the store and download demos. We had to wait for them to come in the mail.
Nowadays, you can pay full price for Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, which is a demo.
Nice dig, Dan.
It really is, though. I'm so happy I didn't pay for that. It's good, but my God, it's short.
I bought it when I bought my PS4. I paid $40 for it. And
you idiot.
I probably put 5 hours into it.
Isn't it like an hour and a half long?
You can beat the main story in like 9 minutes.
That's insane.
But
Really?
there's a lot of other stuff you can do. That's if you're pumping and you know what you're doing.
Besides the point, though, it's just the same mission, slightly different.
Yeah. They put it out as a tech demo. They're like, look at the Fox engine.
Oh, that reminds me. I tell you what I've been playing. Metal Gear Solid 2, Substance.
Okay.
What a game that is. Love it. It's the special edition of Metal Gear Solid 2, which also comes with VR missions.
Oh.
And I absolutely love it. It's so good.
We'll save that for another time.
I've gone back to it, and it's just... I've only played a little bit, so I'll talk about more next week, maybe. But we'll see.
Huh. We got a couple emails.
My God, emails, we're popular.
Adam Wood sent in a picture.
Oh, dear.
And the title of the email was Race Driving. He writes, can't believe you didn't like this game. Okay, so that was sarcasm. I can make it even worse. Check the picture. And I'm going to send this to you in the chat before I describe it. Come on. I looked at it and just had a little bit of a heart palpitation here. Do you see it?
Not yet.
Loading.
Why is this taking forever?
Oh, it's super slow.
Oh,
Probably
well,
my shit
anyway,
internet dragging everybody down.
for the sake of keeping things rolling, it is a Game Boy version of Race Driving.
Ooh.
Yeah. He says it's very... I just replied to him like, no, that can't be real. He's like, it's very real. The funny part is there's almost no changes in gameplay, just even worse graphics.
That's amazing.
And I can't imagine this game could get worse graphics than what it had. Let's see. We've got one from Mark Lee about our Legend of Dragoon, but we're going to save that for that show. Adam Wood sent another email saying, just listening to your Mega Man episode, absolutely loved it, but one thing bothered me. Heatman's weapon is not useless at all. It at least beats Flashman's weapon. It's the first chargeable weapon in any Mega Man game, and just one of those charge shots defeats Woodman. As punishment for your oversight and not fully agreeing to my opinion before even knowing it, I recommend you play the PC version of the Mega Man games. Of course, that's if you can find them. Also, I think running through Skies of Arcadia would make for a pretty fun couple of episodes.
Cool.
You want to write us an email, factoryseal@manatank.com. I think that's going to do it for us this week, guys.
Yeah.
Tom,
Good.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You're going to be back next week?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
Is he allowed to come back next week?
Please.
My picture is still downloading.
It's got
mine too.
It's got
Wow.
8 seconds.
6 seconds. 7 seconds.
I bet it's Dan's pants internet.
Done.
Ooh,
Probably is. File received.
Oh, wow. That looks
Yes,
awful.
driving.
The cover art is more exciting than the game.
Even the cover art shit.
Game shit.
Bloody.
What's on the docket for next week, guys?
I think Tom should recommend a game, as it's Tom's first foray into Factory Sealed.
Oh, wow.
Putting him on the spot. Ideally, something that's easily sourced.
Yeah.
And something Jess might actually be able to play.
God, that's
Doubts.
a toughie. I'm trying to think on the fly here what I've got that I think we should all play. Which genre would you guys prefer?
Anything.
Something like
Crash Team Racing.
We were supposed to
that's
do
a lovely
a
game.
kart racing comparison show where we talked about Mario Kart, Diddy Kong, and Crash Team.
what was
And I will
this?
fight to the death for Diddy Kong.
I will fight to the death for Crash.
Yeah, it's Crash for me as well.
Game on.
And yeah,
I can convert Jess.
Mario Kart.
I think we should all play Battletoads,
Oh no.
and we should see how far we can each get.
We failed at that so hard.
That's universally regarded as the hardest game ever made.
It's a tough.
Eric, I feel a video coming on.
I do too.
Yeah,
All right,
it's so
Battletoads. Which one? The NES version?
Mega Drive, Genesis.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck is up with all of you Londoners or Englanders or whatever the hell you call yourselves with Mega Drive?
Honestly, it's the best version. And
Mega Drive is so much better.
yeah, and co-op is really fun because you can accidentally hit each other and stuff.
We may have
Oh,
to do
God.
the Super Nintendo one because the Super Nintendo multiplayer stuff works better for the videos.
Okay, that's cool. I think it's pretty much the same game anyway.
Let's hope, because it might
Oh,
be
man.
an Aladdin thing. Ooh.
True.
True.
So Battletoads next week. We're back on schedule. I have absolutely no idea when the first Legend of Dragoon show is happening. Derek is done with Disc 1. I'm like 6 hours into it. I haven't heard from Kevin in weeks, so I don't know if he's dead or lost interest. But it is going to happen. It's a long game. We just need some time to get into it.
Are you enjoying the game thus far?
I'm going to save that for the show.
Okay.
I like the battle system. Let's put
He
it
likes
at
to
that.
be cryptic.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Kind of wish I were playing something else, but that's okay.
I'll be interested to hear more.
I'll get through it eventually. Oh, one other thing. I needed to send a shout out to one of our listeners, Mark Bricks from Tasmania.
Come to Tasmania. Come to Tasmania. Sorry. Tasmania flashback.
He he was posting pictures on Twitter one day just of sealed copies of games that he had. And he had a sealed copy of Dark Chronicle, also in the West known as Dark Cloud 2, also known as one of my favorite PS2 games. So I asked him how much he was selling it for. He's like, I was hoping to get $50 for it. I'm like, oh, cool. And then he sent me another message back just saying to us in general, like, hey, if you guys ever want anything from Down Under, let me know. So I shot him a list. I'm like, number 1, sealed copy of Dark Chronicle. Number 2, a can of Vegemite. Number 3, kangaroo jerky. And number 4, an Aborigine. And he responds back. He's like, well, I got everything except the Aborigine. He just wouldn't fit in the box.
No.
And then his dog ended up eating the beef jerky, so he substituted it with something else. But anyway, he sent me this box, and I wasn't expecting him to put Dark Chronicle in there, but he sent me his sealed copy of Dark Chronicle for PS2, and a can of Vegemite, and a bag of chocolate-covered caramels.
That's awesome.
Say what now?
Chocolate-covered caramels.
What kind are they?
Caramels.
Caramel.
It's caramel. It is not caramel.
In it.
You sound like a douche when you say caramel.
I feel like caramel.
You sound like a douche when you say caramel.
And caramel is the like ice cream topping.
Darling, pass me a caramel.
It's not caramel. It's caramel.
Darling, pass me a caramel.
Yeah.
Like
and while you're at it, give me that crayon.
Oh, not the crayons again.
Chocolate-covered caramels.
This is so vague.
So thank you for that. I had another thought, but I lost it when I was stretching.
That happens a lot of times to people.
Shut up, I hate you. All right. Next week, we're going to be joining back up with some Battletoads. Any final thoughts?
I'm terrified.
Jess, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Are you going to play it?
Yes.
Okay.
She is going to make it.
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to play it more than 10 minutes before the show?
I'm going to try.
She might stretch to 15.
Maybe.
So I remember in the early shows, we'd get ready for the show, and Aaron and Jess would hop on, like, hey, guys, how's it going? I'm just playing this game. Like, oh, when did you start? Like, 4 minutes ago. Like, awesome. This is going to be a good conversation. So, all right. That's going to do it for this week. Jess, where can we find you on Twitter?
At I am a Jess.
Dan.
Frosted Sloth.
Tom, where can we find you?
You can find me at Tom J. Ragan.
We need to fix that.
I know.
You need
Isn't your name like Hyper Jelly or something like that? Change
Yeah.
That's
I
better.
know, I'm going to switch it back. I should switch it back.
You can find me at Honest Pizza. That's going to do it for this week. Until next time, toodaloo.
Tatty bye.
The hell does that even mean?
Means bye.